Todd Baracco, police officer in a small town in mid-Michigan, Vassar. He walks in, and the way we do the investigations now is if he walks in and I make the approach first and I can get him to talk to me, which most of the time is what happens, that's the way I do it. When I'm finished with my talking to him, and I'm involved in terms of watching the chats and dealing with the law enforcement decoys who go online. And so I have a sense of what's happening here, who he is, what he wants.
And sorry to cut you off there. Much like Catch a Predator was, what you're doing now, do you guys still have a camera crew that's in there?
Yeah,
so he knows.
It's the same.
I mean, obviously everybody knows you.
It first.
Yeah.
And shockingly, after 18 years of doing it, some guys don't even know it's me now.
Gotcha.
Right? So
well, it's because you're tall.
Exactly.
They're not expecting a tall Chris Hansen to walk in.
Yeah. And his hair got gray.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It used to be gray. But he comes in, pulls in his new pickup truck, and he marches in. And I've talked to the male on-site decoy. So there's a guy there who's like a police cadet who looks younger, and the line that he's going to use is, "Come on in." And I left my vape upstairs.
Something a kid would say.
Exactly.
Something a kid would say.
Exactly. So he comes in. Well, it was the first one of that day, right? And so the decoy was a little, gave off maybe a bit of a nervous vibe. And so Baracco, being a cop, gets sketchy and bolts. So I come around the corner. I said, "Hey, I'm going to need to talk to you." And he's gone. Cops grab him. Bring him back in. The scene is secured. Now I get a shot to interview him. Now, if he talks to me, great. If he doesn't, well, these gentlemen over here would like to speak to you, and I step to the side. So he's getting shitty with me. I mean, he's just indignant, and he's turning around and turning those cameras off and ordering me what to do. I said, "Look, you're not running the show here. And there's cameras over here, and cameras over here, and now the big cameras come out." And I'm at him, and he says, "You don't know, I didn't do anything wrong." I said, "I've got the chat right here." And I read the chat back. And then I take the tube of lubricant, which he brought with him, and I put it on his face. I said, "What's this?" Off he goes. He leaves, and I say to the crew, I said, "That's going to be a cop, a school administrator, somebody in a position of authority," as I mentioned earlier. And they toss his car, 3 loaded guns, his creds, and handcuffs. And now people are coming out of the woodwork to me about stuff he's done before, why he was fired from a previous agency. He was also a school administrator in charge of kids. He was accused. I had the town supervisor of a small town, say that he went to her home and harassed her because she fired him. And when she drove through the town where he was a cop until he was busted, he pulled her over and wrote her 30 over, which would be reckless driving, and just to jam her up. And so you got this is like one of those movies about the rogue, bad, evil cop.
You're right.
And this thing will become a segment of its own at some point.
Just a nightmare for society, basically.
Yeah,
someone in a position of authority that's a predator.
I find out that he had interviewed, at a larger department in Oakland County Sheriff's Department, which is run by, sheriff who went to the same high school I went to. I grew up in that area, so, it's hard to pick a major law enforcement agency where I don't know people.
Of course.
And they flagged him. No, he's had too many different jobs here. This is unsettled.
There's a reason.
So let's back this up a little bit. What was the cadet you had there? How old was he posing as?
He was posing as 14, 15, 14 about to turn 15.
And how did he approach you? What was it on Instagram?
This
Facebook?
was on a social media, platform. I think this might have been Kick or maybe Grindr or something like that. And you're supposed to be 18 to go on, but kids go on it and they say, "Look, I'm only this," and they make it very clear. And then there's a discussion in the chat about, are your parents home, and are you sure this is okay, and do you like bottom or top, and are you showered? I smell good. Do you shave? The usual stuff. And so it was clear in the chat. And as you know, as a lawman, in most states, the crime is committed with the solicitation online.
Absolutely.
Showing up is, icing on the cake.
Right.
That's the TV part of it.
That's when you get them in custody.
Generally, in most states, the solicitation is in the chat logs. And that's the case.
So let's finish this up. What was this guy charged with?
He was charged with 2 or 3 counts related to solicitation of a minor for sex using the internet for lewd and lascivious behavior, and he immediately, the sheriff's department that arrested him, got him held on bail. Some of these guys get out on their own recognizance very quickly, and he was held overnight. He finally made bond, and he was suspended that day. The sheriff in Genesee County, Chris Swanson, is very proactive. His GHOST team, the Genesee Human Oppression Strike Team, is well into the hundreds in terms of guys they've arrested. And we crossed paths. He was one of the sheriffs during the Black Lives Matter protests in and around Flint, Michigan, who diffused it without violence. He got attention worldwide because he was on a vehicle and took his helmet off and walked with the crowd.
Walked out there. I do remember that
situation, and he was on everywhere. So I had him on my YouTube show. I have a seat with Chris Hansen to talk about that. And at the time I was gearing up to do more predator stuff. So he was one of the law enforcement officials who I'm now working with on these new predator operations.
And support for the Cocktails and Cocktails podcast is brought to you by Manscaped. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the Ultimate Men's Hygiene Bundle. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code STICKS, STICKS, at manscaped.com.